Alternative win condition. With Janelle and Will. Welcome back to Alternate Win Condition Battle for Zendikar Edition.
Yes.
Otherwise known as Episode 13.
Yes. I don't know how Battle for Zendikar got the unlucky number, but okay. This is like, we'll work with it.
I know how. They have treasures, those sons of bitches. With me, as you've heard already, is Will.
Now, I want to say that I want to go back. I was technically correct about the fetches. I didn't say how. I just said they were going to be in Battle for Zendikar. I didn't say how many there were going to be either, but they are in Battle for Zendikar.
Technically speaking, yes, the enemy fetches are in Battle for Zendikar at exorbitant, ridiculous prices. But you all know that, so we're not going to go into that. Instead, we're going to talk to you about what shit we did since the last episode.
Magic the Gathering. Get the cards, play the game. Hope to win, but as we all know, it's not about winning.
Draft.
Commander.
Trading.
Legacy.
Modern.
Standard.
Tilt.
Table flip.
This Week in Magic starts now.
It's like, okay, well, since the last episode, let's see, we had the pre-releases. Unfortunately, I only got to do 2 of the 5, but my store had a really great deal where they gave you basically all 5. You can buy for all 5 seal pools. They give you all 5 of them. And you only have to play in the ones that you could actually make it to. So since I was only able to make it to the 2 on Sunday, I still got all 5 seal pools, which was really awesome.
Nice.
It was like, when it came to the pre-releases, I just straight up killed that. I don't know. I always seem to play better when it comes to limited. I always play better at the pre-releases than I play in regular draft or sealed. I don't know what. I can't explain it, but I do. Because I went 6. Because between the 2 events, I went 6-1-1.
Oh wow!
And the draw was just an intentional draw at the end of the first part where we were both 3-0, and it's just like, all right, we'll just intentionally draw and take our split our prizes. So 6-1-1 between the 2 of them. Excellent job there. And then ended up I didn't actually open any expeditions in the pre-release, but I did get one in one of my prize packs.
Oh wow! Congratulations.
Yep, I got a breeding pool, one of the shocklands that are in there.
Damn.
And immediately sold it to the store for like $80 because they were paying 80% of what the value was. So I was like, okay, it's like, here, take it.
Better than usual.
Better than usual, yep. So, okay, and then I ended up getting a case of Battle for Zendikar, opening that up.
A full case.
A full case, six booster boxes.
Okay.
It's like, opened up 2 expeditions in that. One was only the Sunken Hollow, which is one of the battle lands.
Mm-hmm.
But I did get a Arid Mesa, one of the fetch lands in there as well. So
good. Did that pay for your case?
Between the 2 of them, no, not even close. Honestly, it's like between those 2, that was probably about $210 worth of value. If you add up all the rares and everything else that I had in there, then I would say it was probably close to paying for the case. So because I ended up getting like a full playset of Gideons.
Shit! Yeah, that'll do it.
Say a full playset of or 3 Omnixilus, I think, and so I think there was enough value in there that I think I felt like I got my value for the case, so
good.
And then unfortunately I haven't been able to play standard to test my new version of Esper Dragons out. But I did get to test the battle lands in modern, and they actually do surprisingly well considering everything.
The Tango lands or.
Well, Tango lands. I'm trying not to use Tango lands because nobody likes the term Tango lands.
Yeah,
it's like,
takes 2 to tango. You know what? I'm not. But you call them anything else, and everybody's gonna get confused.
Well, it's like, I think everybody has sort of gone on to battle lands. It's like
nobody where I am.
The battle for Zendikar lands. So
battle lands. Yeah, no, we're still calling them Tango lands out here. I think everybody gave up. We're just calling them that.
It's like, yeah, no, I've been purposely trying to avoid that term because nobody likes it. Nobody on coverages are using it or anything else. So
I've had to explain it several times, and people seem to really like my explanation because I hate the term.
Yeah.
So you haven't played Standard yet?
I haven't had a chance to play Standard yet. No, my work schedule, I've been working mostly nights, and I think most of them have been on Friday nights that I've been working. And that's the only night my store plays Standard right now. So it's like,
yeah.
So
that'll put a damper on it.
Yeah, that'll put a damper on it. But yeah, no. But yeah, the Battlelands did exactly what I wanted to do. Now, of course, my modern deck runs more basics than probably the standard one because I do play Blood Moon out of the sideboard.
Yeah, but you know, even without the basics, those Tango lands are pretty fucking good.
They are good. They are really good. Yeah, it's like they will pretty much they will be the defining characteristic while they are in standard.
Yep.
It also makes me think that we will actually get the enemy colored fetches
next time
in the next block when
Cons rotates. Yeah.
Cons and Fate Reforged rotate out. Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
Because I think they want to show off these battle lands, and the only way to really do that is to have fetch lands in there. And
exactly.
So now I'm pretty much convinced they are going to be in there in one form or the other. So
I'm with you.
So, but yeah, that's basically all that I've been up to. Is like, what have you been up to this week in Magic, or since the last episode, I should say.
Well, I haven't gotten a chance to play Standard either because my boyfriend was awesome and paid for Sealed for me last week. So I've played a lot of Sealed. We did Two-Headed Giant, Sealed, and during the pre-release, and then we did Sealed the very next Friday because I always do the first Friday I do Sealed, and then the very next Friday I did Sealed again. Last night I went 4-0 with green black big dudes.
Yeah.
And let's see, Two-Headed Giant, we did green black big dudes was his. Mine was red black support or red blue support. So I'm popping creatures off the board, I'm burning stuff, I'm putting down big asses to block with. Yeah. And then he's like, Ulamog, we win. Like, that Two-Headed Giant was crazy. We won by milling. We won because our opponents, like, it was the funniest fucking thing I've seen in a while playing Magic. Magic's not funny. And they sit down and he draws and he goes, shit, he mulligans. He just does it again, shit, and he mulligans. And he does it again, and he's like, what is wrong with my deck? And he's going through, he's just like, I can't do anything with this, showing his opponent. Like, that's what I like, Two-Headed Giant opponents. They're not afraid to talk. Yeah, because they don't have to give away what they're going to do when they talk because they know each other well enough.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
And but this is really, I can't do anything with this. His partner's like, it's okay. Look at mine. See, we're going to be fine. And the guy's like, no, you don't understand. I can't do anything with this. And he's like, just wait, just hang on. So 5 turns in, right? My partner has Ulamog in hand, but we're 2 mana short of casting it. I have got plenty of answers in my hand, so we're okay to wait for the 2 mana.
Right.
I've been there. We're basically fighting one person. The one who couldn't do anything has played like 2 cards, and my partner exiled one of his lands. So he's a little fucked. So he keeps looking over his partner. He's like, "Can we just scoop? Can we just scoop? Can we just get our packet scoop? Can we just go? Can we go? Can we just scoop and go?"
Goodness gracious.
Can we just go? Can we just scoop and go? And his partner was like, just calm down. We got this. We'll be fine. And me and my partner were looking at each other like, I hope he scoops.
Yeah. It's like,
I just want you to scoop. I'm with you. You scoop and go.
You scoop and go. We'll get the prizes for this. Thanks.
Right?
Yeah.
So he's let's scoop and go. Jesus Christ. He just keep over and over and over again. And finally he looks at his partner and he goes, look at this card! I cannot do anything unless I draw 2 lands, 2 creatures off the top of my deck. Do you understand what I'm saying? I can't do anything with this hand.
Like, how many
times do I just explained to you and the enemy what the fuck is going on? Like, coin cost to stay. And he looks at us and he goes, I have to draw 2 lands and 2 creatures off the top of my deck and we win this. He draws 1 card and goes, nope, didn't happen.
Goodness gracious. Alright, I've seen some tilting before, but that may be a world record on tilting. You're like,
oh my god, it was hysterical. Can we just scoop and go? Can we just scoop and go?
Goodness gracious.
It was pretty fucking awesome. And then Ulamog milling someone. We won by passing the turn.
I was like, well, see, that's the thing. And in Sealed, where you only, or Two-Headed Giant, where you only have 40 card decks, it's really easy to mill somebody out. I mean,
well, next turn they had us.
Yeah.
But pass, like they had us next turn, and we're like Ulamog pass. Sorry, swing with Ulamog pass. We had another really one of the third game we won. We blew up both of his forests, so he couldn't play anything.
Oh, yeah.
And then I returned some of his green creatures to his hand. So he had to discard that.
Goodness gracious.
So, yeah, that Two-Headed Giant was rough on our opponents.
I can imagine. Goodness gracious.
The first sealed event I went in, I lost horribly because I didn't understand what I was doing. But that's my fault. I tried to build red-white allies and I built it badly.
Yeah, it's like, that Allies is merely one of the tougher decks to build.
No, I had it. I built it badly. A 2-game loss. I look at all the cards and I'm like, what was I thinking when I built this? And I fixed it and I went 2-2.
Okay. So yeah, okay, that's good.
Yeah, I just didn't know what I was doing. So every sealed after that, I've been top 2.
Nice, very nice.
And it's been a lot of fun because we bought a box, and our box has not been as good as the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times we've played sealed.
It's like now, were y'all playing sealed with the pre-release boxes or like?
Yeah, yeah. My store usually gets to do that.
Okay,
so
that's
we
cool.
did 2 sealed events, pre-release events, and then we got to play with the pre-release boxes for the next 2 times.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, like, because and I don't know, this may be just hearsay from what I've heard people say, but it seems like if you're trying to pull expeditions and stuff like that, you had a higher chance of doing it in the pre-releases than in normal.
I doubt that.
It's like, I don't know. It's like I heard numbers ranging like 1 in 70 packs for the pre-releases versus like 1 in 158 packs in the regular boxes. I don't know. It's odd. The real question is, have you actually pulled any expeditions yet?
Nope, no expeditions. We did get a Gideon. We have... I don't know if I've explained this on the podcast, but I don't buy cards. It's not a thing. I buy a box. I might buy a fat pack, and that is the extent of my card buying. And I don't always buy a box. If I don't like the set, I don't buy a box. So I don't buy cards. I have my trades. We have all the cards. I've gotten enough out of my sealed packs that I have everything I need right now. I'm running Sultai Eldrazi and Abzan Aggro.
Nice.
I need 1 Drana, and that's because last night I decided to put 4 Drana in instead of 2.
Yeah, Drana is going to be... I expect to see a lot of that card, I think. Drana is just an insanely good card. Like,
yeah, she's really good. She has all the counters, and you're like, yeah, I want to play this, and then she wins.
Excellent.
Yes, that's my summer of Drana. I hope everybody loved that, but it's been really good out of the sealed packs. We got like a bunch of land out of a box, and that was it. But between it all, I've gotten 6 Ob Nixiluses. We're trying to trade away our Gideon because of his stupid, ridiculous, idiotic price.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be maintained that high. I mean, he's a good. Don't get me wrong, he's a good card.
He's not that.
But
good.
I don't see him as a broken Jace $80 card.
He costs that much right now because people were net decking, and they're relying way too much on the net deck.
Yeah.
And you know what? Fine. I'm going to move the Gideon at 42, pick up some other shit, and pick him up when he hits 20 again. That's fine.
Absolutely.
Jace.
I'm personally holding on. I'm personally holding on to him just because I want to at least test him in Esper Dragons. I don't know if it's going to be good, but I at least want to test him.
That makes sense. I have no faith in him. Like, I know he's really, really good in allies. Like, ridiculously good. But if you're not playing allies, he's okay. Like, not bad. Like, he's not going to hurt you by putting him in the deck.
No, I don't think so.
But he's not amazing.
He's sort of like Zendikar was last year. Was, produce a Satyr token, and essentially keep going. It is like...
Yep.
The fact that he can become a creature, okay, he doesn't have trample or anything like that, so I can't rate that too highly, but it is nice to have. And then his emblem, of course, I think his emblem is his real payoff, I think.
Yes, especially because you can get multiples of them. That's really where he shines. It is.
It really is. It's like, I forgot to mention, I did get a fat pack too, but there's only literally one reason why I got the fat pack.
The land.
The land. Yeah, the land pack that's in there. Yeah. I actually now, when I do draft or sealed or something like that, I now have all matching Zendikar basic lands.
I've been waiting for that at my store for someone to be like, can I use my own land? I brought land. And finally last night it was somebody who was like, yeah, go ahead.
I was like, yeah, that is sweet. I was like, I'll just throw all these full art basics in here. And
exactly. I was like, oh my god, that's hysterical. Not it's not silly, it's just hysterical. So Magic's been good to me. I'm really looking forward to actually playing with my fucking Eldrazi deck. I haven't been able to. It's because my boyfriend's amazing, but that's neither here nor there.
I would say, I think I'm finally going to be able to try it out. Unfortunately, the first time I'm actually going to be able to play it against another person is probably going to be the Star City State Championships.
Oh, that's not a good time to be trusting it. No,
it's not.
What are you going to do?
It's like, but it's it's still the same basic Esper shell that I've been playing. Mm-hmm. Even though I did go to Sultai for a bit, but I think Esper is now back to where it should be. I think because the mana base is so amazing for this deck. But we'll get to that when we start talking about Battle for Zendikar.
Yes. So I think that's it for what we did, and we will actually then get right into talking about Battle for Zendikar.
Well, actually, do we want to do the two?
Oh, I forgot about the news! Yeah, shit! My bad. Yes. All right. Tell us about the new rules for sealed events.
Okay, so as you know, we've talked about several times already that in Battle for Zendikar they have the expeditions that are available. You could potentially pull them in any pack. However, the rules for sealed events like sealed PPTQs and sealed GPs have always been that they give you a pool. It's not your actual pool. It's what it's kind of a pool just for you to register. However, say you do open something like an expedition or something like that, the only way you actually got to keep that card before was you actually had to drop from the event and take the sealed pool with you, essentially. So it was either play the event and pass that expedition off to somebody else, or drop from it and take it with you. Well, thankfully now they've sort of fixed this to where you don't have to do that anymore. Essentially, the way that's going to happen is each player is given their seal pool, 6 booster packs, and then players on one side of the table open their booster packs. Then the player directly across from them observes this. They verify the contents of the boosters, and then they are stacked face down in a pile with the player across from you. Essentially, and then the other player does the same thing. And then what essentially happens is the player from across the table from you registers your seal pool for you and then gives it back to you. So that way now you
no
actually...
cheating and...
Yeah, huh?
No cheating and...
No cheating, of course, yeah. It's like, but then they give it back to you and it's like, okay, well now this is your seal pool. So now you get to keep all the sweet cards that you open in your seal pool, and you actually get to play with that pool. You get to build your deck from that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a nice thing that I think there have been times like say with like when they did Modern Masters this past year. If someone opened a foil Tarmogoyf, it's almost better for you to just leave right then and take the foil Tarmogoyf with you.
Yeah.
Versus playing it out, because chances are the prizes you would win would probably not be worth it up to the price of the foil Tarmogoyf.
And that's what they're trying to avoid, is a whole bunch of people dropping.
Correct. And so now you actually do get to essentially, you get to keep your pool that you open, and the player right across from you gets to register it for you. And then you're going to be doing the same thing for their pool as well. They're going to hand you their pool, and you register it, and then you give that pool back to them, and that's their pool to play with.
Wait, finally.
So yes, it's definitely a very nice change to where you know now when you open those sweet expensive cards, you don't have to give them up to.
No more getting screwed over.
Yep. So you don't have to give up the event to actually give it to keep the cards. So.
And in other news, there's a new update to the banned and restricted list. Now, the only thing I know about is the dig through time.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, dig through time. I remember when we talked about Treasure Cruise getting banned the first time.
And we thought that would be good enough.
Yeah, we thought that would be good enough, and I thought, well, dig through time. I mean, it's powerful, but it's not. I don't think it was ban worthy. I didn't know if it was ban worthy in Modern. Well, no. Legacy proved it's ban worthy in every format. It was like it essentially made decks like Omnitel and Grixis Delver, which unfortunately is the deck that I was playing in Legacy, just really, really almost too powerfully good. So, with that in mind, Dig Through Time is now banned in Legacy. And it's like now there were a couple other changes real quick. It was also Dig Through Time was also restricted in Vintage as well.
Oh, okay.
So it sort of goes into that same category as like the Power 9 and everything else, but you only get one copy of it. Mm-hmm. Now the other big change in Legacy, really quickly, is Black Vice is unbanned. Now Black Vice is
for those who don't know, Black Vice is
a artifact. I think it is 2 mana. Hold on, I'm looking it up. I'll be honest.
I'll do it. You just tell them where it's banned.
All right. Black Vice is a 1 mana artifact, and it says, as Black Vice enters the battlefield, choose an opponent. At the beginning of the chosen player's upkeep, Black Vice deals X damage to that player, where X is the number of cards in his or her hand minus 4.
Wow.
So
okay.
So I think is that it deals it. You have to have.
How's it been affected?
I'm about to say, well, essentially, what happens is if you have more than 4 cards in your hand, it starts to hurt you.
Yeah.
Like if you have full 7 cards in your hand, it will deal 3 damage. If you have 6 cards, it will do 2 damage, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Down the line, and if you have less than 4 cards, then then it doesn't hurt you at all.
Right.
And so it's really important, and it's nothing that I don't think is backbreaking, though it may kind of get interesting with different things you could do with it.
But how has it been banned?
Oh, how was it banned? Oh, it wasn't banned. No, sorry, this was unbanned.
Okay.
This was an unbanning. No, sorry, not banned. This was unbanning. It's like it was banned because they thought, okay, well, that's just 1 mana, and you start just hitting your opponent every turn for 3 until they start playing some stuff. Like, okay, that didn't seem fair.
Yeah, it would be silly. Yeah.
It's like, but now I think with the decks that are out there right now, and a lot of them are trying to just drop stuff relatively quickly, that it's not.
This format has sped up a bit, which I didn't think was possible.
Yes, it is. It has, and so I think they think it's just not as big an issue as it was at one time, and so they went ahead and unbanned it. There were only 2 other quick changes in Vintage. Chalice of the Void is restricted. Now, the reason for this is because of all things, the Moxes and Black Lotus.
Then why are they only doing it now?
Well, because nobody thought, I guess they hadn't thought about the fact that you could just play a Chalice of the Void for 0, and you shut off all that. Like, you can't play your opponent can't play Moxes, your opponent can't play Black Lotus. They can do absolutely nothing. So almost every Vintage deck out there was running 4 because it's an easy win. It's like, all right, you drop all your stuff on your first turn, play Chalice of the Void for 0, what is your opponent going to do at this point? There's nothing.
They're going to lose. That's what they're going to do.
There's nothing they can do. So they had to cut that back. Then the other card, they actually unrestricted Thirst for Knowledge, which for 3 mana I think it's fine. It's draw 3 cards and discard 2 unless you discard an artifact. Mm-hmm. Well, again, there you have the Moxes and the Black Lotus that you can sort of discard for free, essentially, and draw 3 cards. So at one time it was thought to be too powerful, but now they sort of backed off on that and said, okay, we already have enough good card draw spells. A 3 mana draw 3 in this format is not it. So they unrestricted it off the thing. But the main thing is Delve. Main thing from all this is Delve is a stupidly powerful mechanic, and it proves it once again.
Yeah, it is.
It is, like, especially when it's combined with card draw, a very powerful card draw. So take your time. I enjoyed time in Legacy, but yeah, it was time for you to go. Like, you're out. See ya.
Sorry, people playing Legacy. Like, Will.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, all this means now is I'm just gonna throw a couple Snapcaster Mages and just brainstorm a couple more times. So I mean, hey, that's fine.
That's still valid. Yay!
It's
like nothing happened.
Pretty much. It's like, see, Brainstorm is still in the format, and that's with Fetch Lands. That's still one of the most broken card draw spells of all time. So
yeah,
take it for what you want.
Well, now let's talk about something that I find much more interesting.
Yep.
Standard, because I don't play Legacy. Yes, so, we've both had plenty of time to play, test our decks. Neither of us have gotten into Standard yet, but we're excited about it and we're working on it.
Yes. So we're absolutely working on it, and this is mostly from the Star City results last weekend. As we're recording this, there's another Star City event going on, but I think kind of the lessons that held true last weekend, from what I'm seeing, are continuing to hold true this weekend as well. Mm-hmm. So just kind of some of the early Standard lessons that we've seen. From what I've seen, decks fall into 3 very specific categories that you can go through. One is you can play two allied colors. So you can play like a Tarka red, green red, mm-hmm. or green white megamorph, or black red aggro. Or that's one category. Or you can play one of the 3 color shards, like from Shards of Alara, your Bant, your Esper, your Grixis.
Yes.
The other way that you can do it, and this is the people who still want to play with their Siege Rhinos, is you can have a 3 color wedge, but however, you have to splash a 4th color now.
Yeah, so you have, I actually saw an amazing deck play last night in Standard that was 5 color Siege Rhino.
Yeah, and actually, we are going to talk about sort of the base for that deck.
Yeah, that deck. Holy shit, that deck. I can't believe that that's going to be a thing. I'm just really in shock. It was so good. Bring to Light, if you don't know, that's a 5 cost. Go search for a creature, sorcery or instant.
Sorcery or instant. Oh, let's be honest. Is Siege Rhino 5 through 8 in the deck? Let's just call it what it is. It's Siege Rhino 5 through 8.
Go get Siege Rhino.
Yeah, go get Siege Rhino and you're fine. So,
I've always maintained, if you can drop more than 3 Siege Rhinos, you win the game.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I don't see how an opponent can come back from that. But we will get to that with the when we talk about the 5 color deck from Jerry Thompson from last weekend, which is sort of the whole basis for
it's
entire
the
deck.
Very similar deck. Yes.
It is. Yeah. But as I was saying, the other way you can do it is you go with your cons wedges, but you splash a 4th color, like either blue or black, like Jeskai Black or Abzan Blue were 2 of the major decks last weekend. And really, all these categories are solely based on the mana base. Yep. It's like, because now that we have the battle or tango lands, depending on how you want to call them.
With the fetches, you can do whatever you want.
Pretty much. It's like, I mean, every fetch land can get you now at least 4 different colors. Yeah. There's only one color it can't get you, and it's whatever the shared enemy color is. So, for example, like blue and white, it can get all the colors except for red. Mm-hmm. Essentially.
It's ridiculous.
It does. It is a very interesting thing. However, admittedly, that is also sort of the new puzzle and the new standard as well. is kind of figuring out the order on which you get lands.
Yep.
And that's going to be a big thing going forward. Is do you fetch for like turn 1? Do you fetch for a battle land? Turn 1, do you fetch for a basic land?
Yeah, and that's what I've been encountering when I'm playtesting my Sultai Eldrazi deck. Is I'm looking at my hand going, I have a forest. Okay, we're good, but I need fucking black, and I've only got this polluted. I need black and blue, and I've only got this polluted delta. So I could draw a land. I will probably draw a land. But is it the land I want? Do I play the tap land? Or do I wait?
I must say, and that's sort of what I'm getting right now with Esper as well, is because I'm finding that I think the right call with Esper Dragons going forward is going to be your turn 1, you either play a tapped blue battle land, or you fetch for a tapped blue battle land. Then turn 2, you play an untapped basic. Turn 3, you play an untapped basic, and then turn 4, you just turn on all your colors after that. I think is the way that you're going to want to go forward. And I think a lot of the decks are going to go that way. I believe. I could be wrong, but
we'll see. We will see. The format is definitely up in the air, and we're only getting a basic picture of what's going on. But of course, red's still a thing.
Red is still definitely a thing. It's like red aggro. Apparently now is it not just an aggro deck? Apparently it is a combo deck.
Yeah, those fuckers. So explain the combo for everybody.
All right, so this is going off of Tarka. Brian DeMars is a Tarka Red, which he won the first last weekend Standard Open with. So here's basically the essentially the combo is between Become Immense and Temur Battle Rage. Now, Become Immense is 5 and a green for target creature gets +6/+6 until end of turn, but it does have Delve. So, and as we all know, Delve cards are broken as hell.
Yep.
And then the other card that goes with it is Temur Battle Rage, which says target creature gains double strike until end of turn. However, that card also has Ferocious, that if you have a control a creature with power 4 or greater, it gets Trample as well. So essentially, what you can do is you have all your little creatures as you normally have your Lightning Berserkers, your Zergo Bell Strikers, your Monastery Swift Spears, your normal kind of mono red creatures, and then you're just filling up the graveyard with stuff like Wild Slash, Dragon Fodder, or Tarka's Command. And then when you're ready to go in for the kill, you attack. Benevolently, they'll have to block with something. Say they can even block with a Siege Rhino. This is how insane this gets. You can start off with a Titan Strength, give it +3/+1. Then do Become Immense, give it +6/+6. And then on top of that, Temur Battle Rage it. So now you're hitting with counting, say with the Lightning Berserker, counting the prowess triggers, you're probably hitting for about 20-ish.
Stupid amounts. That's what you're hitting for.
Yep, and the Siege Rhino can only block 5 of it. That's it. So it is essentially one of the last week he was getting turn 4 kills with blockers in play. It's like oh, you have a blocker, how cute. You're dead.
Yeah.
So
I'm not happy to see the deck. I'm not.
I would say, well, the other interesting thing with the deck is also this still does play Atarka's Command. Now, Atarka's Command, usually you only play 3 of the 4 modes of it because nobody really wanted to put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield until now. Mm-hmm. Because one of the creatures in the deck is Mackenzie Slabrunner, which is a new card from Battle for Zendikar. It's a 1 and a red, trample, landfall, 2/1. When a land enters the battlefield under your control, Mackenzie Slabrunner gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Mm-hmm. So you cast a Tarka's Command. You say give all your creatures +1/+1 anyway, and then drop a land. It's like okay, say I drop a fetch land. It's like okay, that triggers it.
The landfall.
Trigger fetch with it. Trigger landfall again. It's like this. I hate to say
it's silly.
It is silly. It's like this. Mono Red or Atarka Red has won the past 2 Pro Tours, and I think this is gonna, unfortunately, just going forward this is gonna be the deck to beat going into the Pro Tour. It's like your deck has to be able to beat this deck, or you will lose.
And that's why I think they printed Dispel, because it fucks Tarka.
I think it does too. Yeah, it's like
you want to do your combo? That's cute.
It's like because I mean, if you look at all the spells they have, everything with the exception of Dragon Fodder is an instant.
Yep.
Like everything they have is an instant. So yeah, I think that's why they had to put Dispel in there to be like, all right, we have to give other decks a way to combat this.
They need a fighting chance. Give them a fighting chance.
So, yeah, this is just an incredibly powerful deck. And then even after the sideboard, it can go into more of a kind of control-y type deck. Because you can start playing Thunderbrick Regents, you can start playing Hangerback Walkers, Goblin Heel Cutters. So it turns into a more of a mid-range deck after a sideboard.
It's very rough. It's very rough.
It is rough, and this is a deck I'm not looking forward to playing against ever.
No one is.
But it is but it is a very powerful deck, and I think it is sort of the defining deck going forward.
We will see if it doesn't get wrecked by Dispel, which I think it's going to.
I think it will too. I hope it does. It's like,
yeah, I've already got Dispel in my sideboard.
So kind of going on to the next deck, which is this is kind of where I was talking about with if you're going to play a wedge color, then you have to splash a fourth color just to make your mana base work. So essentially, you have to play one of the colors that separates your wedges, so that way you can use your mana base. Because now literally nobody is playing. Well, I shouldn't say nobody. Most people are playing very few of the tapped tricolor lands now because there's not really a reason to.
Correct.
Because you have such a great way to fetch and get your mana bases and everything else.
There's no point in the tapped tricolors.
There's no point in the tapped. Now, the deck I'm talking about actually does have 2, but that's 2 out of 25 lands. Whereas before, if you were playing Jeskai, you had to have all 4 of them in there. So it just kind of gives you an idea of how everything has changed since then. But this is Jeskai Black. This was the 4th place deck of the weekend by Adam Varner, and there are very few interesting cards in here. One of the cards, and one of the big reasons to splash black, is Crackling Doom.
Crackling Doom, so good.
It is good. It's like, and the good thing is that because most people are going to have a creature bigger than Hangerback Walker, because most people, like if you play like say a Foul Tongue Invocation or something like that, they're going to sacrifice the Hangerback Walker so they can get their tokens. I mean,
yep,
no big deal there. It is like, but Crackling Doom says, okay, no, you have to sacrifice whatever your highest power creature is, not your lowest. And so, very powerful stuff. And this deck also kind of one of the other new cards that I actually think is kind of cool to play with because it only costs 1 mana. Is Dragon Master Outcast. Now this is a card that no red aggro deck will ever want, but this type of deck will love. And it's Dragon Master Outcast is a one red mana, and it says at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 6 or more lands, put a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying onto the battlefield.
Yeah, I don't want to see him ever. I think he's going to be in a lot of sideboards.
Well, especially in any deck that plays Jace, which of course, because the easy thing is you can discard it to Jace, and then have a way to get it back, say like Ojutai's Command, which is in this deck, and it says just return target creature card with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So on your turn, when you already have 6 lands on play, you can Ojutai and command him back at the end of your opponent's turn. Bring him onto the battlefield, get the trigger, get a dragon immediately, essentially. Get a 5/5 dragon.
Yep.
So, very, very powerful kind of interactions with this here.
The commands are going to see a lot more play. They're just... Before we were just seeing a lot of Dramoka's commands, but now I think we're going to see everybody except really the Sultai command. Yeah, the
Silumgar's command. Even as someone who likes playing blue-black, I don't want Silumgar's command anywhere near
It's too expensive.
It's too expensive for what it does, and there are better answers right now. I mean, honestly, I would rather play an Utter End than Silumgar's command. So,
yeah. Utter End. Wasn't I telling you guys? Utter End. Yeah, Utter End.
Yeah, Utter End is really, really good right now. So, between Hangerback Walker and a whole bunch of other stuff, so.
Yeah.
It's like...
Hits all the planeswalkers. It is the best removal in the format right now.
Yep. Well, I should say the best instant speed removal. I mean,
that's because that's what makes it the best removal.
True.
Is because it's instant.
Very true. Very, very true. So, but yeah, this is the kind of and unfortunately, I did not pull an Abzan blue deck because there wasn't really any Abzan blue that made it into the top 8 or anything like that.
Yeah,
but
essentially, I think that's pushing it going outside your colors in Abzan, my opinion. is the deck synchronizes so well just by itself that when you go outside it, you push it too hard.
Well, actually, I think the way that you probably should go if you're going to splash a color in Abzan, I don't know if I like blue. I know, it allows you to bring to light so you can get more siege rhinos. But I honestly think red, maybe if you're going to do Abzan, it should be probably Abzan red.
No. If you're playing 5-color siege rhino, you're playing 5-color siege rhino. Otherwise...
Sure. Okay, yeah, that is true. So,
otherwise, you're playing Abzan. That's what I'm saying. Is you're either playing the combo deck or you're playing Abzan. That's what you should be doing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So it was like, there's Gideon in this deck, but the only other card I want to talk about is in the sideboard is Radiant Flames. Basically, any deck that can play 3 colors, Radiant Flames is going to be amazing because it's going to sort of be like an Anger of the Gods that you can,
Wait. It hits all creatures?
All creatures. Deals X damage to each creature where X is the number of colored mana spent on Radiant Flames.
Oh, shit. My bad. I did not realize that. I didn't realize it was all creatures.
Yeah.
That makes it so much better than the single target spell I thought it was.
No. It is essentially essentially our new Anchor of the Gods that you really honestly should be casting it for 2 to 3, ideally 3, but 3 different colors of mana, I should say. But yeah, no. Yeah, this card is really, really good. It's a nice little 3-mana board wipe for aggro decks, stuff like that. This is another card that I could see getting a lot of play against that Atarka red deck.
Yes.
To be like, all right, just wipe your board for 3 mana. So, and I think that's it for the major cards that I want to talk about in this deck. So,
well, I'd like to talk a little bit about the crazy prices going on right now. If you haven't been paying attention to your trading, then you've been fucking yourself recently.
Yeah, you really have. It's like
card prices have been ridiculous. Jace is at $70.
Yeah, which honestly I'm amazed at because, and I'm saying this with all sincerity, you only need 2 copies of Jace.
Yeah.
Ever. It's like no.
And I'm really worried he's never going to go down again.
He's probably not. I hate to say it because he's actually now seeing play in Modern, and even some people are playing him in Legacy.
Yeah.
I don't see this as a card that's coming down.
Oh, so if you want to get one, pick it up already.
But again, as I stressed, you only technically need 2 copies. If you play the token cards, the most you can have out at one time anyway is 2.
Yeah.
You can have the Planeswalker form and the creature form. So don't go hog wild and buy 4 of them. Just buy 2.
Yes. Gideon. So, do not pick up Gideon.
Not yet.
We know. He's in all the net decks. He's a good card. He's not fucking amazing. He is not worth $42.
I don't think he's proven himself as a $42 card yet. Now, this upcoming weekend is the Pro Tour. He may prove himself to be a $40-some-odd card this weekend. But I don't think so. But as of this very moment right now, he is not.
I don't think he's winning any of those games by himself. And that's what makes card $40 is you win with the card. He helps the decks he's in. He does not win the game.
Right. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I will say, though, probably the nicest thing with Gideon is he does play very well with Hangerback.
Yes, he does. But, Jace is $70 because he wins games.
That is true. Yeah, turn 2 Jace is one of the hardest things to overcome.
Yeah, your opponent has all the cards. All of them. So. And then he's pulling them out of the graveyard in a minute.
Yep. Absolutely. So, all right. Well, we have 2 other decks we want to talk about really, really quickly. One, of course, I had to put my baby in here, Esper Dragons. Basically, there's not a whole lot new with this deck, but there are just a couple quick cards I wanted to talk about. And this is from Jeff Crush Cow, who got 3rd place. There are a couple new cards really quick that I do want to mention. One of the cards in here is Complete Disregard.
Okay.
It's 2 and a black for a instant. It has the void. It has no color, but it says exile target creature with power 3 or less. Now, remember when I was talking about trying to run Sultai, what I was looking for really was an answer to Hangerback Walker? Mm-hmm. It's like, well, this is our new answer for Hangerback Walker, and I sort of prefer this. it's easier to cast than Sultai Charm.
Yes.
And most of the time, a Hangerback Walker is not going to get above a 3/3. So, and when you exile,
don't want it to get above a 3/3.
No, it's like but it can exile it. It does not get when you exile it versus killing it. It doesn't get the tokens.
Correct.
They don't. So that's a very powerful card that I think going forward. Another one that in this deck that I really am testing out and I've been liking as much as to possibly like it is Horribly Awry.
Okay.
It's 1 in a blue. This is another Devoid card, but it says counter target creature spell with converted mana cost 4 or less. If the spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into the owner's graveyard. Well, there's one big 4 mana spell that I pretty much want to hit with this every single time. And its name is Siege Rhino. it is like, I want to exile Siege Rhino, and I do not want you to be able to get it back with a Den Protector or anything else.
Okay.
It's like, and it only costs 2 mana. Now, it is pretty much against any control deck. I'm taking this out because there's not any targets. But
I would think it would be more a card you want to sideboard in. Because I see a lot of people trying to go with control.
It's like, well, see, and that's the thing, though, is I think with the prevalence of Hangerback Walker right now.
Oh, that's true. The control decks are using... Yeah.
I would say, I think that's the reason why I want Horribly Awry in here, is for Hangerback Walker and for Siege Rhino, essentially. Mm-hmm. I mean, it can do a bunch of other stuff. It can take care of a Death Mist Raptor, so you can't get
I didn't think Complete Disregard hit Siege Rhino.
No, Complete Disregard does not, but Horribly Awry does, because Horribly Awry is counter target spell with converted mana cost 4 or less.
Yeah.
So, now Complete Disregard will hit Death Mist Raptor as well, which is really good. Well, yes. I should say an unmorphed Death Mist Raptor. If you morph it and then flip it up, then it will not, because it'll have 4 power. So, one of the things that we already talked about, there are 3 Utter Ends in this deck, and strangely enough, no Ruinous Path.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no Ruinous Path anywhere in this list. So, the fact that it may be a sorcery may just be enough to where it's not playable. I don't know. I still think it's a very good card for 3 mana.
It's been working very well in my playtesting Abzan. But my Abzan aggro deck is aggro. I can't wait till turn 4 to get rid of your stuff. Otherwise, Utter End would be the go-to. I think Ruinous Path is also... Don't disregard Ruinous Path, because not everybody can run white.
No, that is true. It is like... And I think that will be sort of the test going forward. I think that's the one big question that nobody has answered about Ruinous Path yet, is because it seems like an aggro deck would just run over Ruinous Path. I mean, relatively quickly, I might add, too. Say like that Atarka red deck is like, all right, well, if I can't kill it at instant speed, so if I'm on the draw with Ruinous Path in my hand, it literally is a dead card.
But that's when you know you're running up against Ruinous Path. You kill their creature before they can do shit to it. You do it on your turn. And then if you get to a long game and you're on turn 7, I think it's 7 or 9, I don't remember. Now you've got a 4/4.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And that's actually one of the decks that I've been sort of deck building with this, because there are actually enough really good Awaken cards.
Yep.
That I'm wondering if there's possible to have an Awaken control deck.
I know someone who's trying to build it.
It's like, because there are enough good cards between like Planar Outburst and Ruinous Path and Scatter to the Winds, which is our new 3 mana counterspell, taking the place of Dissolve. Mm-hmm. It's like there are enough good ones here that I think there is a way to do it. And one of the neat little tricks in here that could potentially work. I don't think it's in main deck anyway, or it's not in his list at all. But Tragic Arrogance is one of those cards that when I read it a second time, I saw how it relates to the Awaken cards, and I'm like, okay, well, this may actually be amazing, because it says sacrifice all non-land permanents, except for the ones that you choose with Tragic Arrogance to keep. So that means you can choose, say, like you have Dragon Lord Ojutai or something like that, and then you have a bunch of Awaken cards. So it's like, okay, I'll just keep my Dragon Lord Ojutai. You can keep your worst creature. You have to sacrifice everything else, essentially, and now I have all my lands that can swing through you as well.
Exactly.
And so that's sort of somewhere that I could see kind of going down the road with it. And that's part of the reason why also in my version, even though this deck is running one language, in my version of Esper Dragons, I took out the languages because I'm like, yeah, it's like, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not ideal.
Never liked language. I don't know. I guess I'm the only one who never liked language.
I say language has been going down and down for me each time I cast it. There are some decks, like against a mono red deck, it's incredible. It's the best card. It's the best card you can have. If you're playing against an Obzon deck,
but that's the thing
it's the worst card in your game.
So technical. Like I'm like, well, if you need that one more turn, do something, save your ass. I don't know, but Crux of Fate.
Right. Yeah. It's like it still runs Crux of Fate. Yeah. Yeah. Crux of Fate
seems better. BioBlight back when we didn't have the new removal seemed better. I never liked Languish.
It's like, yeah, I think in a Dragons deck, I think Crux of Fate is the way you want to go. I think is like because
even not in a Dragons deck, it's just
like,
a better card.
It is. It's like, well, I mean, because it is essentially a one-sided board wipe at that point. So it was like, it's pretty much I think exactly where you want to be. Now, the one interesting thing I will say about Jeff Krushkow's deck, and there have been a lot of the kind of professional writers on Star City and stuff like that have questioned this throughout the week. Not a single Jason in this deck. Well, not the main deck anyway. He has 3 Jason in the sideboard.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that because it's so good.
Yeah, Jason I think is just good enough to where it should probably be, if you play any form of blue, it should probably be in your main deck.
Yeah, it's just standard blue right now. Just do it. Just do it.
I was like, pretty much done with this. There is one other small thing I wanted to mention, and it was in the lands. There's a Blighted Fen in here. Blighted Fen is actually a very interesting card in this. It's a colorless land. Add 1 into your mana pool, but you can play 4 and a black, sacrifice it, and target opponent sacrifices a creature, which they cannot counter. Mm-hmm. This isn't a spell you can counter or anything like that. This is, they have to sacrifice a creature. Mm-hmm. So, very strong, powerful effect, especially in kind of a control mirror, where like they have a Dragon Lord Registide, then you're like, okay, well, untap, Blighted Fen, have you sacrifice it. So, I don't know how I feel about it yet, because you're already playing 2 colorless lands with Haven of the Spirit Dragon, and I don't know if you can fit 2 additional colorless lands in a 3-color deck, but it's something that's at least to think about worthy.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's go really quickly to the last deck here, and this is the deck that I know we
don't actually have time.
Oh,
so we're gonna have to skip over it. Sorry, guys, no more.
Okay.
I was gonna ask you if you thought it was weird. Real quick answer. If you thought it was weird, we haven't seen more of the Eldrazi yet.
No, actually, because I think the Eldrazi are very complicated cards to play. Mm-hmm. And I think it's not something that's going to be readily. I think in the when a new format happens, like we just had, I think the immediate urge is to play what you're familiar with a few small changes. And unfortunately, none of the Eldrazi really fit into that mold.
Yeah, so you think everybody's in their comfort zone?
I think everybody's in their comfort zone right now. Now, this weekend, could I see someone coming up with a really great Eldrazi ramp deck to play?
Since they've had time to test it.
Since they've had time to test it and everything else? Yeah, definitely. I think it's possible. But as of right now, no, I'm not really that surprised not to see a lot of Eldrazi yet. Because, I mean, when you get up to cards that cost like 9 mana, 10 mana, stuff like that, you have to have a very specific deck around them to make them work.
And that is the reason I think Kiora is going to go up, because I think she's really undervalued right now. And she is ridiculously good when it comes to mana ramp. She gives you a land, and she gives you a mana creature untapped.
Yeah.
So, with her, I've been able to turn 5, drop Kiora, drop Ob Nixilis.
It's like, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It is. It's like, and I definitely think that is... I think Kiora has not had her chance to shine yet. Now, I could say I'm glad Kiora was not in the last standard, at least this version of Kiora. Because if you can imagine untapping a Voyaging Satyr and Nykthos at the exact same time.
Yeah,
Good
that's
Lord, that
a
would be
too overpowered.
that would be broken. But even in the current format, yeah, I mean you have things like Whisperer of the Wilds that you can untap it for 2 green mana if you have Ferocious, then untap it again, and then add another 2 green mana to your mana pool. Is like I definitely think nobody has really explored the mana ramp strategies because Devotion is gone, essentially.
Yeah.
But I think there is a way to get a mana ramp strategy out there, and I don't know what the answer is yet. But when they discover that, then I think you'll start seeing some of the more powerful Eldrazi like Ulamog and Void Winterer. I think are
Void Winterer, really?
Well, because with the prevalence of Hangerback Walker, with the tokens that they create, all the tokens are 0/0s, and so they can't block Void Winterer. In fact, nothing that has a even mana cost.
I see what you're saying.
It can do that. I actually think I could see the other way that I could see it as being possible is if there was some form of a control deck that was just trying to control the board
until they could get to play it.
Until they get to 9 or 10. That would be the other way that I could see the Eldrazi getting played. And there are some, and actually what's bad is the best removal spell in the format may be wholly dependent on the Eldrazi.
Yep.
And Titan's Presence. It's 3 mana. You reveal an Eldrazi from your hand.
Yep.
And then exile a creature with power less than that.
That's my we're sort of talking about my Eldrazi deck right now. But
yeah.
So, okay, moving on, we're going to give you guys a little bit of tips about Limited right now. Yes. If you are playing it, do not underestimate this card, a 2-drop blue card, pay 5, make a creature unblockable. It wins games. Don't ignore him. Okay? He seems dinky and stupid. He's amazing. And he's underestimated by all your opponents. Fucking gets there.
2 mana and then pay 5, make something unblockable?
Yeah. 2 mana creature. No, I have no fucking clue. He's blue. That's all I got. He's blue. He costs 2, pay 5, make something unblockable. I've seen him passed up over and over again, and I've seen him win games. I have yet to pull one in my Limited. I don't fucking know how that's happened, but, whatever. Alright, other cards. The green tap land that comes into play lets you put a creature on
on top of
a basic land on top of your library. Don't play that card unless you are playing more than 2 colors. I see people fuck themselves with that card. It looks good. It's not.
Yeah, no, sorry, I'm still trying to figure out what that card is. It's like,
yeah, I don't do names. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's like, there are. Okay, I see. Coral Helm Guide. Okay, so yeah, Coral Helm
Guide.
So,
that's the
dude. 4 and a blue, target creature can't be blocked this turn. Okay, so
ridiculously good.
It's like
ridiculously good.
Yeah, so it's like, and I mean, this is essentially the same rate that you're getting for Rogue's Passage. I think in the in Magic Origins, and a lot of people overlook Rogue's Passage too because it's like, oh well, it's 5 mana to make something unblockable. Well, it's 5 mana to make something unblockable. So yeah, this is a very good card.
On top of that, no one will blame you if you splash that black tap land, Mortuary Mire, to get a creature back from your graveyard. That's a good card, even if you're not running black.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, I think that's very, very reasonable. It's like, so, kind of going big picture with Limited, I think, kind of get the big idea thing. I think whereas, like in Magic Origins, the key to having a good Limited, whether it was a draft or a sealed deck, is you had to have basically a very nice mana curve, go 2-drop, 3-drop, into 4-drop, essentially.
Well, that's debatable. You can skip 3 or 4. You can go into 5 sometimes. Right. I don't think you can really get that restrictive on what you can do with your deck. But you want to have a decent mana curve of some sort, and then you want to try and fall into one of the limited lanes. Now, if you don't know what a limited lanes are, they are archetypes. They're the ones where if you can get there, because you got the pulls, then you're going to have an even better chance of winning. Now, you can't always get there, because you don't always get the shit. It happens.
Well, I'm about to say, and this is kind of where this goes into kind of the next step, because as I was saying, that was Magic Origins. This one definitely has, you want to try to anchor yourself into something, whether it's allies, life gain, Eldrazi processing.
These are the lanes.
These are the lanes you kind of want to try to find a lane to get into and to stay in, because this is a deck that really feeds off synergies. Whether it's having your ingest creatures and then you're able to process stuff to get use your processors to get very powerful effects.
By processors he means mana ramp.
What? Huh?
Mana ramp.
Well, not necessarily mana ramp, but there is one that does give you some mana ramp. But there are a lot of the Eldrazi processors that says take a card from opponent's exile, put it back into their graveyard, and you get some benefit. Whether it's
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Gain 5 life, or
I was thinking the mana ramp Eldrazi when you were saying that. Okay, keep going.
Okay, so yeah, there are definitive themes in limited in this set, and so I think the key is to kind of find what theme your deck supports the most,
or what theme your pull supports the most. So if you're sitting down for a draft as opposed to sealed, you're going to look at your first one and you're going to say, okay, this is the colors, these are the lanes I can go into. If it's a green pull, you can do green-white allies. If it's a white pull, you can do white-green allies or white-red allies. If it's green, you could also do green-black processors or green-black mana ramp if you get lucky.
Yeah.
These are the lanes, but then as you go through, you have to adjust. Well, maybe you really don't want to do that. Maybe you really want to go into blue-white. What's the blue-white one? I forgot.
Blue-white.
I think it's blue-white creatures control.
Yeah, it's like blue-white control essentially, because there are a lot of good white removal spells in this
that's
format.
what it is. Yeah.
So I think blue-white is sort of your control colors. You can do blue-black as well. But blue-black probably falls more under the line of Eldrazi control, which would be like your complete disregards, your horribly arise, stuff like that.
Yes.
Those probably play better with your black spells. And then, so it's sort of interesting because this is the first time in a while that I can think of, at least, that there seems to be like a couple aggro strategies and a couple good control strategies. And then you have red-black, which actually that's not even one of the ones that I even have listed here, but red and black actually may be your aggro.
It's red-black aggro. If you can get in there with the creatures, kill them by turn 5, you don't even have to worry about the Eldrazi.
Yep.
And right now in Limited, that's an amazing place to be.
It is. It really is. It's like, one of the other things to sort of look forward to as well is anything that exiles, either exiles it from the game, or just kind of like, I'm trying to think. There's the one white enchantment. It's a rare. You don't see it that often, but essentially it says you can pay 4 mana to get an Oblivion Ring. You pay 6 mana to Oblivion Ring 2 things. You play 8 mana to Oblivion Ring.
Yeah, the XX spell.
Yeah, the XX spell. Yeah, it's like that. Those also play very well with the Eldrazi processors because it doesn't matter where it's from exile. You can exile those away.
But be careful with any of the, as he's referring to them, processors that require cards to be in exile. If you don't get the ingest, if you don't get the exile removal, because there's several of them, don't play them.
I must say, honestly, I would not even try to build an Eldrazi processor deck unless you can get that one Eldrazi that is blockable, that has ingest.
The blue 2-cost 1/4 Eldrazi ingest.
Yeah.
You can play those if you can get a lot of other stuff. If you can pull a Titan's Strength, if you can pull the 1 black ingest pump Eldrazi, if you can pull the 2-drop, you'll probably get in there. If you get 6 or 7 or 8 ingest cards or otherwise exile cards, you can get there with the processors, and that's not unrealistic. It's just if you pulled 2, don't fucking play those cards that require something to be in exile. You cannot rely on your opponent exiling their own cards.
No, it doesn't happen. No. It's like
it does happen. It's just not probably going to happen. There's, Muramasa and all that shit. It could happen. It's just probably not going to happen. So, I think that's going to be it for our Limited. Yeah. Maybe we'll talk to you guys about it a little more next time.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Because, this is I'll go ahead and tell you, this is a deep set. It's like, I don't even think everybody has found out everything that could be possible with
Nope.
this draft set yet.
Or even with sealed. Or standard,
or
sorry.
sealed, yeah.
I meant standard, not sealed. Anyways, alright, thank you guys for listening to us. We will be back when we're back.
Yes.
Bye.
Hopefully next week.
Yes, hopefully. So. We'll see. Okay. Bye-bye.
Well, wait, we gotta do our outro stuff.
Oh, shut up. Outro stuff. Right. Professionalism. I know what I'm doing. I'm good at this podcasting. Will's got a handle on it. I'm gonna shut up.
Okay. All right. So, the show has a Twitter at AWC Podcast. I am on Twitter, and I have a new Twitter handle now. Because if you try to find me under Red Hawk Will, you won't, because I finally did away with all my World of Warcraft history. Now I am Force of Will MTG on Twitter.
Nice.
And Janelle, you have a Twitter.
I have a Twitter, Janelle5, Janaelle and the number 5. I have not been on there for a while, but if you follow me on there, you will get show updates and my other podcast, which has been on hiatus for forever, and other things like that. So, sometimes it's interesting, sometimes it's boring. You can follow me. It's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It's you can also email the show at awcpodcast@gmail.com. You can also support the show via, we have SoundCloud, get a like and repost, Stitcher, thumbs up, review us, YouTube, comment, likes. You can find us on iTunes. 5-star review would be nice.
Yes.
And with a review. Trying to think, am I missing anything?
Puka Trade,
yes. It's Puka Trade.
If you head over to boltsnapbolt.net, you will help us out because they are our sponsors. And if you use their link to Puka Trade, we get, they're not exactly kickbacks. It's hard to explain.
Benefits.
We get benefits, and it helps the show continue because we're middle class people who don't really have a lot of money. Yeah. So we want to keep going with the hobby. We want to keep going with the podcasting hobby. Takes money, takes time, So we have a sponsor, and you support our sponsor, you support us.
Yep, and also on Bolt.
There we go. Okay. Having issues. Technical difficulties. Alright, and here we go.